Well, guys, today is the day that Manchester City won the treble. They will soon catch up to Manchester United's title wins. Liverpool have already caught up and have equalled, if not beaten, every trophy record Man U have to become the most successful club in England. Man City will soon be heading that way too. Pep Guardiola could comfortably stay at Man City and beat every single record Fergie had and Manchester United had. And I think Manchester United fans and these top Reds that are just laughing and joking and saying, oh, well, their celebrations are crap and there's not many fans at the ground. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, once you've won the trophy, you are in the history books forever. That is how it is, right? And I'm sick to death of these Manchester United fans pretending like this isn't happening. They are accepting incredible mediocrity at this club, and it needs to stop. I woke up this morning pissed off, infuriated, angry, and I'll tell you what, the Manchester United players won't be, and that should anger you. That should annoy the fuck out of you. We've all seen the clip, and if you haven't, go and look it up. There is a clip of Inter Milan fighting for every single ball. For 90 minutes, they gave it their all, and bar a unfortunate miss by Lukaku with his head, they could have been taking it to extra time. If they'd have had a little bit better quality up front, they could have even won it. City weren't even that great. I believe Inter even had better XG, and to be honest, if it wasn't for a spill out and a Rodri shot, I think they could have lost that game. The same way they lost the game against Chelsea. You saw Man City, it meant so much to them that they were panicking. This meant everything to them. You saw Pep Guardiola at one point when Ederson was passing the ball out to the stands and letting the ball roll in behind him and everything. He said, calm down, calm down, calm down. You don't ever see Manchester City like that. And these clubs, like Manchester United, that were trying to stop this treble, needed to realise that, hello, the treble starts with the FA Cup, and the most important thing is you don't let them be comfortable. You don't let them get into the game, because once City went 1-0 up against Inter Milan, they settled down, they relaxed into it, they started their passing game, and Inter Milan didn't really look like creating too much. Manchester United conceded within, was it 15, 14 seconds, maybe even quicker? They weren't even switched on to win multiple headers and track a runner. Now, I don't care what you think about Ten Hag or the players. The reality is, that is unacceptable. And yet it's deemed acceptable by our fans because, well, hey, we won a League Cup and Ten Hag kind of got fourth. He got in the top four. Well done. That's not acceptable. And you might say, well, Manchester United can't win the Premier League this year. He's done the best job he can. Maybe so. That doesn't mean I have to accept it. That means we should be rioting. That means there should be humongous protests whistling every time a player doesn't commit and go for the ball. You whistle, you pressurize the players. You create an atmosphere where the players have no choice but to try. Pep Guardiola, at the start of this season, lost 2 games, and he said, I don't recognize my team. I don't recognise any of the players. I don't think they're trying. I don't think they want the three-peat. And I don't think that I should manage them. And I'm going to leave if they don't try. And what did they do? They went to win 3 Premier League titles in a row with a treble on top. Okay? You're all going to sit there and you're all going to say, well, 115 financial fair play violations. Cheated team. Cheated squad depth. They came to the end of a season with no injuries because they can rest everybody perfectly. Kevin De Bruyne got injured in the final and they can just wheel on Phil Foden like it's nothing. If Jack Grealish got injured, they can wheel on Mahrez. If Ake got injured, they can wheel on Walker. Yes, they have an amazing squad depth. Why? Because clubs have let it happen. You can go and buy these players, by the way. Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, 50 million each. Mahrez, 50 million. Kante went to Chelsea for 35 million and won them a title. Ake sold from Chelsea, right? Leeds went and took Calvin Phillips. Oh, he had no part in it. He's squad depth. He's a proper player. that is squad depth that makes other players in the squad like Rodri think, well, I've got to play at 100%, otherwise I'll be benched. Other clubs aren't doing this. You're having a go at Man City for doing what every single club wants. This is a sport. This is a sport to compete. And what are you meant to do if you are, say, League 2 Morecambe? What does League 2 Morecambe do to win the Champions League? How on earth do they get from League 2 to winning the treble? Ask yourself that. If they have to stick in financial fair play rules and they have to spend within their means, how on earth do any other teams ever catch up? I want you to know that Manchester United in the 90s were basically Man City, and I'm a Man United fan. Yes, it was slightly different. We spent our own money, but what is the alternative? Yes, City spent an enormous amount of money, but the alternative is what? Let your club be shit and have a shit league like the Bundesliga where the top guys remain at the top. Sport should be about investing, improving and trying to win, like, say, Formula One. The toxic positivity of it's fine because they cheated, it's copium. United were one of the biggest, if not the biggest, probably financial powerhouse in 99 when we won the treble, right? They went on and we bought the best available centre-back in Europe, the best centre-forward from the Premier League itself, and spent the most money of any club in the 90s and continued to do so in the 2000s. How do you possibly grow your club and compete with that if you don't spend money? Should we turn into the Bundesliga and have let Man United win every single thing every single year? Or do you want a rich owner to come in and say, actually, I want this club to win things and I'm going to keep putting money in until we do win things? That's what you want, right? That's the whole point of supporting your club. You support your club and you try to buy the best players and you try to have an academy and be smart. But if that isn't working and you want to win and you want to give your fans success, you need to buy good players. And that's what Man City did. There's multiple things that need to be understood. Barella and Brozovic and Dzeko, who played for Man City, put up more of a fight than these so hard-worded metal men of Bruno Fernandes. There's clips in the FA Cup final of Rashford stood still as the ball comes down. There's a Man City player 1 foot in front of him, and he steps backwards and lets him win the header. We conceded within 15 seconds. We weren't even switched on to stop the treble. It's disgusting. We lost 7-0 to Liverpool. We lost, was it 6-2, 6-3 to Man City? It's disgusting. You should be disgusted with how this club is run. And you're all sat there saying, oh, it's all right, though, because they cheated, so it doesn't mean anything. It does. It does mean something. And if you forget Man City, okay, you want to wipe Man City out of the question, Chelsea have won a league, Liverpool have won the league, Liverpool have won the Champions League, Chelsea have won the Champions League, Leicester won the FA Cup, Arsenal won the FA Cup. There's these things going on we're not a part of because there's toxic positivity of like, oh, Sancho's been, he was good at Dortmund, but you know, he's not been so good. He had a year out and then this year he had a mental health break. I need a mental health break from watching Sancho play. He's disgusting. These are players that play for the club and they are employed by the club and they are replaceable. If you weren't doing your job, at work year after year, month after month, week after week, you wouldn't be in a job, would you? Jack Grealish turned up to Man City, didn't play the entire year because Pep obviously wasn't happy with what he saw. This happens to a lot of people at City. This happens to people getting binned off. Oh, we can't replace him. We'll never replace Aguero. We can with Haaland. We can with a backup to then pressurise Haaland. Would Haaland have been performing as well if he had no backup? No. The Italian team to win a Champions League tried harder than Manchester United to stop their main rivals in a domestic final winning a trophy. They couldn't even switch on for the first 15 seconds. They are a disgusting bunch of players. The Inter team put everything on the line. They put themselves in front of everything, going in for every tackle. Meanwhile, 15 seconds into the game, we had multiple players having a leisurely stroll in a charity case atmosphere, ducking out of the way of shots. It's absolutely bizarre that people are allowing City to take this league, and Manchester United fans are rolling over. City, 7 league titles, 3 FA Cups, 6 League Cups, 1 Champions League. But then people are putting asterisks, 1.4 trillion, 1.4 billion spent, 115 financial play stories, financial play breaches, fairy tale stuff like taking the mick. That's not the point, is it? The point is, how on earth were Manchester City ever going to get a Champions League win, 7 league titles, 3 FA Cups, and 6 League Cups without spending 1.4 billion? They weren't, were they? That's what you've got to do. Don't have a go at City for spending money when that's what all clubs should be doing. The Sky Sports, and I'm going on a rant here, but Sky Sports have turned the table into some sort of comedic event, some kind of storyline that they can sell. That Brighton did really well because for their budget and their size, they did fantastic to get in Europe. And this team, like West Ham, you know, they won a trophy, but they're in 19th. The ultimate goal of the Premier League, the only goal of the Premier League is to win the league. That's it. If you're not winning the league, you have failed. I don't care what club you are from, you have failed. And your job the next season is to improve and improve and improve until one day you can win the league. And if you need to spend 1.4 billion, then you're going to have to spend 1.4 billion because that is the standard that has been set. You want to moan and you want to say all this other stuff that there's no academy player in the starting 11. Do you think Manchester City fans and the Manchester City owners and the Manchester City club are bothered that there's not an academy player in the team? Maybe the academy players just aren't good enough. Players walked off that pitch without a bead of sweat on them. There was no mud on their kits. They didn't put any effort to tackle or stop Manchester City winning a treble. Yes, maybe they are 115 financial fair play cheats, but the reality is our players don't care. They won't be waking up hurt this moment. We collapsed within 12 seconds, yet Inter Milan managed to hold on and have a better XG in that final. We have disgusting players. We lost 7-0 and they're not bothered. They're literally not bothered. It's outrageous. I keep saying in my videos that you could get rid of the whole lot of Manchester United and it wouldn't mean anything. What would it mean? They don't win anything anyway. Look, if I want to be brutally honest, Anthony, not good enough. Marcus Rashford, yes, he's scored 30 goals, but there is, and if you want to debate me, there is a literal clip of before the Champions League final, Pep Guardiola name-dropping 2 of our players. How are Manchester United on the mind? I'll tell you why. Because he was saying that one of the deadly things about Inter Milan is they play with 2 forwards and they've got a lot of strong forwards and their keeper can play out and he can chip the ball to the forwards who will hold on to it and break. He said other clubs like Manchester United, they can't play out from the back with their keeper, and players like Rashford can't hold on to the ball. If I'm Rashford or I'm De Gea, and I'm getting name checked by a rival manager saying I'm shit, there's nothing more that I'm doing than working harder than anybody's seen in my life to try and prove him wrong, but they're not bothered. Bruno Fernandes. People are telling me that Bruno Fernandes is some kind of hero and that he has to start every single game. Why? Where's this metal mentality in the big games? Bruno Fernandes has a mentality that when we lost 6-1 to Spurs and somebody said, you know what, you got thrashed by Spurs, and he said, does my goal not count? I'm pretty sure it still counts. Like he's still thinking about the little goal. David De Gea, 10 years of failure. 10 years of straight failure, should be nowhere near the team. Jadon Sancho, failure, get rid. Sabitzer, failure, get rid. Weghorst, failure, get rid. Martinez, part of the defensive structure of two of our most embarrassing defeats in our lifetime. You could argue that you could get rid of him. Now, would I? No, I like him and I think he's decent and he was part of the system problem as opposed to other things. But you could argue that if you're a part of a 7-0 to Liverpool and a 6 and a da-da-da to Man City, that something's going wrong there. Anthony Martial, proven he's not good enough. Christian Eriksen can't run. Varane needs a leader, keeps turning his back on things. Luke Shaw, he's good when he wants to be, but probably could get rid. Aaron Wan-Bissaka can't attack, get rid. Victor Lindelof, Jose Mourinho said in one of his Sky Sports interviews about 5 years ago, the bloke can't head the ball. You know what happened in the FA Cup final? He jumped up, got beat by Haaland with the header, and they scored. Malacia, not good enough. Dulot, not good enough. Scott McTominay, not good enough. Jack Butland, not good enough. Donny van der Beek, not good enough. Anthony Elanga, not good enough. Brandon Williams, not good enough. Must we go on? Tom Heaton, not good enough. Bruno Fernandes was sold by Sporting. The next year, they won the league for the first time in 19 years without him. If you were to get rid of 80% of our squad, it wouldn't matter. They're not good enough anyway. If we do not get basically an entire new team, we won't be winning anything. And I'm telling you that for a fact. I've been telling you that for 10 years. They're not good enough. They're names they're names that people think are good. Oh, Rashford's good. No, Rashford isn't good. He's not. Rashford wouldn't get in a Pep Guardiola team. I'm telling you that. He wouldn't get in a Pep Guardiola team. It's outrageous, really, that Manchester United fans and even other teams' fans are just accepting this. They're just accepting this for, oh, well, they cheated, so it doesn't matter. No, it should matter. You should be really, really pissed off. You should be infuriated that your club aren't bothered. Look at this little picture here. David De Gea punching the ball sideways as he tries to come and claim, panics and spills it. Edison crashing through to win the ball in the Champions League final and secure his team the win. It's a mentality thing, and these players don't have it. It's about winning. It's about doing it on the day. Rodri came over after winning the Champions League final and the treble and said, it was good, but this group and all of us, we want to win more and more because we truly believe we can win more and more. And they're right. They will win everything if they keep going. He said he played shit. He scored the winning goal in a Champions League final and all that was on his mind was, I want to keep winning more and I played shit. Jack Grealish came over and he said, fucking hell, I played dead, man. I was shit. Ask yourself this. If this current group of Manchester United players, Bruno, De Gea, Sancho, Weghorst, Martial, Anthony, Rashford, Luke Shaw, if they came over, Fred, Lindelof, if we just won a treble and a Champions League, do you think they'd come off the pitch and say, I played really, really shit? Absolutely not. They wouldn't. We have no mentality in the club, and there's two things that need to happen. Erik ten Hag needs to very quickly get rid of all of the players that don't have the mentality, or he himself should be fired, or we need new ownership to buy 11 new players, which is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can copium, you can hopium. It's not going to happen. Manchester United is dead and buried as far as I'm concerned. The only way it gets saved is if a true super wealthy billionaire decides that they want Manchester United to retopple Man City, and that's going to take a lot of desire. I don't think Sheikh Hazim or whatever his name is, or Sir Jim, the Chelsea season ticket holder that's running Nice like shit, should have. I don't think they have the desire to do that. Here's the thing that gets thrown around. Oh, PSG are bottlers. They win the league every year because it's a farmers league. It's easy as fuck. So the only thing they've got to care about is the Champions League, which they fail in. Well, let me tell you this. Sir Jim owns Nice in the French league. They're not winning the league. Why not? Because he has no desire to win the league. If he had desire to win the league, he would be buying these players. He would be fighting to sign these players. He would not be letting players walk to PSG for free. That's what you've got to do. You've got to invest. Luckily, Manchester United still have a bit of history in the back and to maybe swing a few players' minds to come and play for us. But we are not a good football team. And I'm actually sick of players thinking and sort of top red fans thinking that we're any good. Look at the quality of players genuinely. We're not good. We're miles off. We're always miles off winning the league. That's the main thing. That's the goal. It's okay, Ten Hag saying we've had a good season, I really respect the players. Yes, you could say fire Ten Hag for losing 7-0 and then praising the players, but let's be honest as well. What's he meant to do? He doesn't have any other players to pick. Pep Guardiola can threaten to bench people because he has got a backup that's as good. Whereas if we threaten to, say, bench, I don't know, De Gea for how shit he's been, who's our backup? Jack Butland or someone? Sergio Romero, hand on heart, was and is a better goalkeeper than David De Gea. I will stand by that. The calmness, the playing out from the back, the distribution, the catching, the claiming, the organising of defence, all goes into what makes a top defence. And it's no surprise that David De Gea has been the one consistent component of every single failed centre-back partnership and defensive setup since Ferguson retired. This team is not good enough. Stop coping. Stop saying that, oh, the treble doesn't matter because Man City cheated. What else were they meant to do? Genuinely. If another team comes up into the Premier League, Coventry or something, how do Coventry win the Premier League? They're going to have to spend a shit ton, aren't they? That's how it works. If you want to compete, you need good players. Good players cost money. We're doing this Glazers cost-saving, cost-cutting exercise of playing academy players because they're academy players, even though they're actually not quite good enough. Look, if you're not good enough to win a title, you shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. That's it. Because that's the goal. So Ten Hag needs to find people good enough to win titles and get rid of the ones that aren't. Simple. This means that Manchester United fans need to stop the toxic positivity and accept that actually sometimes it's good to buy a quote no-name that has experience in winning big games. You can't put a value on that because you know what? When it comes to the big game and you don't have any of those players, what ends up happening? You go into the FA Cup final and you get walloped within 15 seconds because nobody's got the mentality. Nobody truly cares enough about Manchester United. So, yes, I am truly disappointed that Man City have won a treble, and I think it's an honest reaction to them winning the treble to be truly annoyed. All these top reds and your Mark Goldbridges that are pretending like it doesn't bother them are lying. It does bother you. It's okay that it bothers you. It should bother you. The thing that should bother you the most is that Manchester United players do not care. That's the issue. That is the issue. That's all I've got to say. That's all I've got to say. I don't think football's ruined. I don't think there's some horrific thing that needs to stop City doing what they're doing. I just think other clubs need to spend their money. When you get in the Champions League and you make 100 million or whatever it is, that 100 million should be instantly used on 250 million quality players. That's how it should work. You should invest. Pep, again, literally says, with United, for example, the long ball, they don't have it because they can't keep it. The goalkeeper can't do it, and Rashford and the other guy, they don't keep it. Rashford and De Gea and people have been name-dropped by Pep Guardiola before a treble and a three-peat title run, and he knows they're not good enough. Yet Top Reds and Manchester United fans will have us believe that this squad is good enough. I remember I made a TikTok and I said we needed about 7 new players before the FA Cup final if we were going to win. I was mocked, told that I had an idiotic opinion. Well, the table doesn't lie. The trophy count doesn't lie. They're not good enough. Do you think Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Scott McTominay, Fred, Eriksson, Rashford and Antony with Martial up front would start for Man City? Would they start for Liverpool's peak quadruple style team? Would they start for Man United's great team? Would they start for Chelsea's great team? Would they start for Arsenal's invincible team? No, they're not good enough. That's why. You have to get rid of them. Get them off the wage bill. Start acting like a proper club. Or it's finished.